Well, kia ora, and welcome to the Have to Cruise Show. I am your host, Helen Brahms from Cruise Planners, and today is Traveling with Confidence, and we are here with the fabulous Miss Molly Burke. Hey, Molly.
Hello, beautiful. How are you?
Super fantastic and sparkling. How you doing?
You know, I am once again reassured that God's in his heaven and all is right with my universe because you are once again super fantastic and sparkling. So I am comforted, deeply comforted. Yay!
Yay! So now, for everybody who's tuning in, we have you on the Blog Talk Radio channel at HaveToCruiseRadio.com. And then we also have you on the Google Hangouts at HaveToCruiseTV.com. So you can either watch us or you can listen to us. And if you're on the Have to Cruise radio channel, you can actually click on the chat button. And if you have any questions during the show, you can type the questions in there and we can answer them for you. So how cool does that sound?
Marvelous. So mute your chat volume on the Google Hangout, babe. I got feedback.
Oh, I've already got that down. It's probably coming off your speaker.
It's so much fun. Technology, the bane of my existence sometimes, and sometimes the best thing that ever happened to me.
I know, getting used to all this technology is fun.
It is.
Miss Molly, what is our Traveling with Confidence topic for today? I know it's
today
a favorite
we're going to talk about my favorite, which is solo travel, traveling alone. I love to travel alone. It is bliss to me. It absolutely is. The freedom to make my own schedule, to follow my own circadian rhythms, my own nose for adventure, to be delighted at every misadventure that comes. I completely love it. Love it.
Awesome. Now we're going to be talking about some cool things like safety when traveling by yourself. We're going to talk about cruises that cater to solo travelers.
I'm so excited about that because it's been so frustrating not to be able to go cruising because I love to cruise. But the trouble has been that it's so expensive as a single woman to cruise and I just want to be alone in my own cabin.
That is true because cruise lines do what's called a single supplement, which could be anywhere from 50% of the cruise price added on to 100% of the cruise price added on.
As I well know. And, you know, I really looked at that and then decided that air and ground travel was actually a better value for me considering the single supplement. There's so many aspects to solo travel. But you want to talk about the cruising first? Because I'm so curious.
We can get you back on a cruise, Miss Molly.
Oh, I love cruising.
There is actually a cruise ship. It's Norwegian Epic, and they have what is called the solo cabins. They are designed for one person. They are their studio rooms. They have 128 of them on board the ship, and it is smaller than a regular-sized cabin. It has a full-size bed in it. It has your TV, your desk, your drawers, your closet, bathroom, and it's all in the middle of the ship. But it does have a window and surround window. And it looks out into what's called the living room. And the only way you get access into the living room is via solo traveler staying in one of the studio cabins.
Oh, I love that.
And here's another cool part you'll like. Every evening at 5 o'clock, or around 5 o'clock, they actually do a solo travelers get-together in the living room. So if you're staying in one of those 128 studio rooms, they actually do a social time, so you get to meet each other. You might want to go to dinner together, go to the show together, go on shore excursions together. And they have a whiteboard that's like this, so people put up there, say, hey, I'm doing an excursion, anybody want to come with me? So how cool is that?
You know, and I've cruised with Norwegian before. I did their freestyle cruising because I want as much flexibility as I can get when it comes to my travel. That's one of the reasons I love to travel alone. And I really enjoyed their freestyle cruising. I enjoyed the amenities on the ship, and oh my God, the staff was fabulous. So to hear that they're doing even more makes me really happy. Oh, and so everybody say hello to Mabel.
Hey, Mabel.
Hello. It's my dog, my puppy. She's 4.5 months old. and she's fighting on the cords of my headset. So I had to pick her up and get her away from my stuff, and now she's insisting on having my attention. She doesn't care that we're on the radio. No, Mama has to earn some kibble, honey.
Well, here's even some better news, because Norwegian is bringing out 2 brand new ships. They have the Norwegian Breakaway coming out in May, and that also has studio cabins on board. And then they have the Norwegian Getaway coming out next year, which is the sister ship to the Breakaway, and they have the solo cabins on board as well.
Fabulous. That gives me so many more options. Is there anybody other than Norwegian that's doing like catering to or making it more accessible for people like me to do solo cruising?
Well, funny you should ask me that. Because yesterday, Crystal Cruises, which is one of the luxury cruise lines, actually announced that their single supplement on, let's see, and I printed off here to make sure I got it correct, they have 26 cruises on Crystal Serenity and Crystal Symphony, sailing in the Mediterranean, the Baltic, South America, Caribbean, Western Europe, Black Sea, North Cape, British Isles, Eastern Canada, and Transocean, going from 7 to 18 days between June and December of this year, and their single supplement is only 10%.
Get out.
I kid you not. It was worldwide press release released yesterday. 10% for their single supplement.
That's amazing.
I love your tiara.
I absolutely love that. Thank you. You know, you said, where's my tiara? And I didn't have a chance to grab one, and they're out of arm's reach. So I thought I would just give myself one from Google. Thank you, Google, for the new crown. That's fabulous. And I've always wanted to take a luxury cruise. Crystal is one of those ones that peaks in my mind as one of those, someday, but not if I have to pay double.
Well, they have the solo occupancy fares starting at $2,865 per person if booked by April 30th.
Oh,
how cool is that?
Sounds doable. It's cheaper than going to Europe, land and air. You know, it really is.
I will tell you this rate is cheaper than some of the rates that are out there for the regular cruise lines, like your Celebrities, your Royal Caribbeans, even some of the Norwegian rooms, Princess Holland America. It's right in there with those as well.
Heavenly. I love hearing about this. Thank you, Helen. You know, being able to rely on you as my go-to expert for all things cruises just simplifies things so much for me. And I'm so grateful for your time and your expertise. It's wonderful.
Oh, well, thank you. So now let's talk about, we've talked about the cruises and which cruises you can go on quite successfully as a single without breaking the bank. So then now let's talk about if we're traveling by air or land. Let's talk about some of the things about traveling solo.
About the traveling, I'm still getting double feedback for the audio, so I'm having a real hard time hearing you.
Do you have the speakers on your computer?
Yeah. Good thing I'm cute, huh? Okay, try that.
Okay, how's that sound?
Better? Oh,
yeah.
My God, that's so much better. Okay, sanity. See, you just have to say my name first and use small words. I'm eventually going to catch up with this. Truly. She can be taught, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just talking about solo travel in general, land, air, that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. Yep. We've covered the cruise portion. So now let's talk about the land and flying and safety and some of the fun you can have.
There's so much to know. And as a single woman who's been traveling alone for a number of years, I've learned some things on my own and from going on the fabulous interwebs and researching. And I found some things that I'd known on my own or suspected on my own or had be easy for me and didn't know why. And so I want to share some of those things with our listening audience today so that they can take the advantage of some of the benefits that I've found in my solo travel. One of the first things I want to say is make sure that your prep is simple, makes your travel simple. So I strongly recommend that you only travel with a carry-on bag if you're traveling land and air. on a cruise ship, that's a whole different discussion. But if you're traveling land and air, carry the one carry-on and then whatever bag that, a capacious purse that will act as sort of the bigger, your smaller carry-on. The reason I say that is because luggage gets lost, and it's an inconvenience. It's even doubly so when you're alone. Make 2 copies of all of your paperwork, and actually I make 3, and I leave a set of papers with my best friend, so that if I'm out of everything, I can call her, and she's got all my information right there at her little fingertips.
That's a good tip just for anybody traveling. It doesn't even, if you're by yourself, it's just any travel, have copies of the documents.
You've got to, including your prescriptions. Have the doctor's script of your prescriptions on everything. Copies of your passport, copies of your itinerary, copies of your plane tickets if you've got those. Whatever you've got that you can make copies of, make them. And you know where I put mine? I put mine in the lining of my luggage. I even put copies of my front and backs of my credit cards that I'm going to take on my trip, just so in case they get lost, I still have my luggage, I can reference those numbers rather easily. What else? Oh, my goodness. Only bring what you can easily carry because you want to have a free hand so you can shoo away those grabby men or grab a pineapple or whatever it is you want to do, Also, if you're a no itinerary kind of girl like I have been known to be, at least book a room for the first night that you arrive in any location.
Absolutely.
So that you have a bed to sleep in that first night, and then you can go adventuring your next day. And as the winds shall blow you, so shall you go, if you're that kind of girl. But or guy for that matter. I really recommend just the first night in advance, book yourself a night in a reputable room in a safe neighborhood. Ask the local chamber of commerce where you're staying for recommendations. They're usually pretty good about that. And will recommend reputable members of their association generally, and that can be a really good connection. I recommend that you carry some food with you, nothing heavy, some granola
like
or some
snack bars
or a handful of nuts. And this will keep you from venturing out in the dark by yourself at night when you're hungry, and it'll save you money. To that end, I like to carry eating implements of destruction. I have a Swiss Army knife that I used to carry. Can't carry it much anymore. Can't take it on an airplane. But you can go to where you're staying.
Take knives with a certain length on the planes now.
Yeah, so, I like a plastic bowl and a spoon, something like that I can fill up with other things and put in my luggage. It makes it pretty simple. And I always have a pareo or also known as a sarong, or something that I can use as a rucksack for meals that I travel with on the road. Think about bringing a book. Just one or two. You don't want to weigh down your luggage, but they're great conversation starters. They keep you from being lonely. They'll pass the time while you're waiting for connections. And they can start, they can really be a wonderful thing for you to trade with other travelers that you come in contact with.
I never thought about trading books with other travelers because I always take my Kindle with me because I always read a lot when I'm away on vacation.
I love that. When it comes to traveling, I generally travel abroad more than I travel domestically. So for me, and I don't have a Kindle yet. I'm almost a Luddite. So I like physical books. There's just something sexy about the smell and the feel and the turning pages of a real book. So I'm not that I don't love Kindles. It's just that I'm not there yet. If anybody wants to send me a Kindle,
I still like my books, but I use my Kindle mainly for fiction. So I use it for those because when I get the nonfiction books,
you'd be able to have.
Yeah, because the nonfiction books, I like to have a highlighter, a pen, and Post-its, and I personalize the book and make it mine by underscoring stuff that, quotes that stand out to me, ideas, and I got Post-its to write ideas down on. I can stick them in the book. Yes, you can do notes on a Kindle, but I write a lot faster and I can highlight faster than I can figure it out how to do on the Kindle. So I just use the Kindle for fiction books, and there's a really cool website called, what was it called? I'll have to find it. There's one, I just started doing it. It's called BookBub. bub.com. You can go there, and they email you each. You put in what interests you, and then each day they send you an email, and it will have books that are greatly reduced or are free for the e-readers.
I love that. Free books.
Yeah.
Oh, there's
free books for
nothing
your
better in the
e-readers.
world than a free book.
I know, and so
I love that idea.
If it says it's free, I'm basically downloading it because I figure, this is a way that I can get exposed to other writers, other authors, other books, that sort of thing. And the thing that I like about that, too, is that I have actually found some new authors that I like by reading their free book. And if I had seen it in the store, I probably would not have picked it up.
Wow. Yeah, it's a great time to get recommendations from your friends so that you can be adventurous if you've got a Kindle out there as well. Vacations are a great time to be adventurous, not only in where you're going, but in what you're reading, for sure.
Yes.
Another point that I want to make is, especially if you're younger, now I'm a woman of a certain age, so it doesn't happen to me as much anymore. But back in the day, I found it useful to wear something on the third finger of my left hand, basically a fake wedding ring or a fake engagement ring. Don't wear an expensive one because it might get stolen, but having a band you can wave in the face of some persistent suitor is excellent proof that you're married and unavailable, and it can really shorten those conversations. I recommend that. And another thing I recommend is, make an effort to be friendly. And really, befriend the local women. Oh, befriend the local women. The local women know everything. They know everything. They know the best places. They know the safest locations. They know the most fun. They know everything. So befriend the local women and ask them questions. It's the best way to get the local scoop, or the local poop, if you will. So making an effort to be friendly across the board is a great way to open yourself up safely to new adventures, new companions. I've made some lifelong friends just from the effort of being friendly. And I'm so grateful for those connections. They've been extraordinary. I made a friend of a Dutch uncle who lived in the Tower of London. In the Tower of London.
In the Tower of London. Sweet.
In the Tower. Oh, so cool. And I would never have done that if I hadn't been friendly and curious and following my own nose and my own passion. That's another thing about solo travel is go where your nose leads you. Go where your passions lead you. Because you're going to be more engaged. You're going to be more involved, less spectatorish, if you will.
Yes.
I want to put a caveat. I want to go back and put a caveat is befriend the local women, but remember that other women are not necessarily safe as well. The local women will tend to be safer. Your innkeepers, your restaurateurs, that sort of thing. But sometimes there can be less than honest women. So use your intuition. Let it guide you. Your guts never lie to you. They never lie. And if you're a woman, as I am, choose your accessories carefully. Wear a money belt.
Under the shirt.
If you're going to carry a purse, one that straps across your body. Hold it close to your body.
Oh, there's ones from Magellan's Travel Places that you can get that have wires in the straps. They have a wire mesh in the bag, in the linings of the bag, so they can't be slashed and the straps can't be cut off. And then they have
genius.
They have a hook system for doing up the zipper, so that if anybody's trying to get into your bag, you would actually feel them trying to frig around with the end of the zipper, trying to get it unhooked to open your bag. And they have them so they go across your body. They have them as backpacks. They have them as ones that just go over your shoulder, that go around your waist, even the waist ones. And I just think they're absolutely brilliant. And and it makes it very difficult for people.
They have so many cool things.
And they have cool little alarm things that you can take with you. But they also have the little alarms as well, too, that you can put on the door of your hotel room. So if anybody tries to come in, the screening thing will go off.
I love that. It would have to be a loud alarm because I'm the kind of girl that when I travel, even when I travel alone, and I don't recommend that you do this, it's just something that I'm in the habit of now, I use earplugs at night because strange sounds keep me up and I can't rest well. But I've trained myself that listening to the sounds of my own body, my own heartbeat, I'm out.
Yep.
That being said, if you're traveling, especially if you're traveling alone, you want to be aware of your surroundings. So if you get an alarm like that, rather than having somebody just come into your room and you're not being able to hear them because you have earplugs, an alarm would alert you. That would be awesome because you can hear that through earplugs.
Well, this one here looks like a doorstop, so it's a triangular one, and you can put it down by the bottom of the door. So as it comes up and as it presses down, because the door's been open, it lets off one of those high decibel noises. So you will hear it with your earphones on.
I love that. I got to get me one of them.
And then another good
these
thing
things are
for
all small and easy enough to pack into your luggage, yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, the doorstop thing's only like about so long, like about 6 inches or so. So it's something small and it's light, and you can put it in there, and it runs off a battery. So just take spare batteries with you. Don't put it into your luggage with the batteries in. Not a good idea.
Yeah, true. Get them where you are.
You imagine being on the plane, you put your bag up in the locker, and somebody drops something on top, and the thing goes off.
Lord, that's the last thing I need. I love that idea of the alarm. I'm going to have to get me one of those before I go traveling again. Another point is to take care, especially ladies, take care of your feet. Nothing ruins a trip faster than sore feet. And we tend to overestimate our ability to walk distances when we go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you, but me and mine, we tend to say, 8 miles in a day, that's no trouble. When I've been, hiking 3 or 4 or 5 miles in a day, a couple of times a week, to go 8 miles every day for a week, my hips are complaining about it. So choose comfort. Pack different heel heights and really, really excessively comfortable shoes, great insoles.
And another thing you want is that being a woman traveling alone, you also want a really good travel guide. And there is actually a website called Go Girl Guides, with the S on the end, .com, and they actually have travel guides specifically designed for women. And it tells them about...
I've seen that site, and I absolutely love it. I love that
they have some amazing information on there for the women that are traveling alone. So that's GoGirlGuides.com, and they have some phenomenal information. And they were actually at the LA Times Travel Show last year, and I got to speak with them and talk with them and have a look at their guides. And I was hoping they were going to be there this year so I could go and get a videotape with them. But unfortunately, they weren't there this year because I would have loved to have got one of the people who work there to actually talk about the guides and what they're all about. But they have great tips like hotel. And these are places that they've actually been into, the people who work for Go Guides, for the Girl Guides. This is one of the places they've actually been into, places they've been to, things they've found. When you're in this town, look out for this, beware of this. But over here, you'll be okay. Stay in this area of town. It's a little safer. It's better for women to stay in this area rather than this area, and that sort of stuff. And they have such some great information on there. So
love that website. Can't say enough good things about it. So glad you mentioned them. As there are some websites that I consult regularly and that I specifically consulted because I know them and I love them, before I did the show. One of them is solotraveler.com. I love solotraveler.com. They're a great resource. And they have specific articles about women traveling alone and such. So I recommend them as well.
Awesome.
And Magellan's. Magellan's is just dangerous.
It is. But they have so much fun stuff.
I know. I could go crazy, and I have upon occasion. So I have some fun things, but now I have to go back and get an alarm, and I have to get my bag. Luckily, with you and I doing this stuff and writing our book and such, it's all tax deductible now. That's the coolest thing ever. I absolutely love that. It's genius, girl. Genius, I tell you.
Well, just go to the website and go under where it says safety, and you will see everything there to help make your trip safer. You will see the bags there that have the thing. You'll have the wallets that have the RFID shields built into them. So there's lots of cool stuff that they have on there to help you travel safely, but still have a good time. And that's the thing. We want to make sure you have a good time, but in a safe way.
Exactly right, and not to feel too inhibited or paranoid. It's really easy as a woman traveling alone to be scared, or to go the other end and feel like you're bulletproof. And there is a happy medium to be met there, where you can be prudent and adventurous, and that's really what we're both encouraging here. Being on a cruise ship is a wonderful way to travel as a single woman. I have enjoyed it. I've traveled with, one of the things that I love is that I have single woman friends, and so we've been able to share cabins on cruise ships, which I've enjoyed. But I really love traveling alone. I love cultivating the pleasure of my own company. There's something freeing and liberating and coming home in my own self, to go to a foreign country, especially one where I don't speak the language, and to rely on myself and to be with myself, you know?
It makes a big difference.
I spend a lot of time being with other people.
I spent 3 weeks one time working in Melbourne, and in Melbourne, Australia. I worked there for 3 weeks, and I was staying in a hotel, but I was right in the theatre district, a block up from Chinatown, and I would just finish work at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, because I was working on New Zealand time, which is 3 hours ahead of Australia. So I was working on New Zealand time, so I'd finish at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I basically had the rest of the day to go do whatever, and just remember that I had to get up and be at work at 5 o'clock in the morning, because I had to start work at 8 a.m. New Zealand time. So I was getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get ready to go to work. So my day kind of shifted a little bit, but I was able to get out and enjoy the thing, and I just loved getting out there and just walking around. You know, I went to a couple of the theatre shows there, and they ended a little on the late side, so it was a little difficult getting up at 3 a.m. the next morning, but that was that. But then I found out, too.
You have to plan for that.
Yeah, but I found out, too, that when you're in the theatre district there, a lot of the times in a lot of the theatres there in Melbourne, is that once the show ends, go into the bar that's right either part of the theatre or next door to the theatre, and then about 30 minutes to an hour after the show ends, the cast comes in and hangs out with those that are still there. So you actually get to meet some of the cast. And I didn't know that, and I thought, I wish I'd known that, because it was a really good musical that I had seen. I'd seen Blood Brothers, and that was just amazing. And a lot of the people that were on stage were people that I'd seen on TV in New Zealand, because they're Australian actors who do both stage and screen. So I thought that would have been really cool had I known that in advance. So trying to find out little things like that about local things before you go makes a big difference as well.
You know, Facebook has made it possible for us to do so much advanced recon from the safety of our own houses, offices, couches, wherever we are. You can connect to people through degrees of separation with the folks you already know on Facebook, and intersect with folks anywhere you want to go. And they will tell you that people are delighted to be virtual tour guides. I have found this amazing. You know, where they may not have time to spar you in person, but OMG, they will give you all the info. You got to go here and you got to go there, and you really must try this restaurant, and say hello to Louis for me when you go. And you know, if you say hello to Louis for them when you go, sometimes you get little perks like a special table or free dessert, or something like that happens to you. It's the marvels of traveling alone. Solo travel is so liberating. Liberating.
Well, we have come to the end of another show, Miss Molly.
No! We're done already?
I know, you and I could sit and we could talk for hours on travel.
Especially traveling alone. There's so much more. We're going to have to do a part 2 on this, because I have more information for everybody. So much more information.
Next month we will do part 2.
We rock. We rock. We rock. And so does my tiara.
So the next month,
Helen, you are a
solo
joy
travel
to play with.
Well, thank you, Miss Molly. I always love having you on the show, because you're such a delightful person to have on the show. You're so bubbly and effervescence, and it's
we
contagious.
Don't have that in common at all.
No, not at all. But if anybody would like more,
cruising together, we are going to have so much fun.
Oh my gosh! But if anybody out there would like more information about traveling solo, or would like to contact Molly or myself, attached to the episode page on Blog Talk Radio, we have a link there. Click on the link. There's a form that you fill out. We will be in contact with you. If you're watching it on the YouTube, then just go below the video. There's a link there as well that will take you to a form. Just fill it out, and we can contact you that way. So next week, I am so excited. I am going to have Linda P. Jones on the show, and she is the wealth coach. So she is, and we're going to be talking about luxury travel. So that's going to be really cool.
I love wealth.